Ooga ooga, cunts. Schmeckle here, the ungay cockhaver of no color. Let's all crawl into our safe spaces for a moment and talk about pronouns. No straight white men, please. Now, since we're all nice little SJWs here, I'm sure you know what a pronoun is, but just in case we have some non-SJWs watching, fucking bigots, a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. These are things like I, you, he, she, and so on. We're mainly going to concentrate on he and she because we haven't found a good enough reason to complain about being called you. We will though, don't you worry. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that pronouns can be very important to some SJWs. Some people who look male but identify as female may want to be referred to by female pronouns and vice versa. Some will even use totally not made up pronouns like z or schlim or schlur, and it's your fucking job to remember and use the fucking right one, you fucking ignorant bigot piece of shit. Fuck. It's called being polite. Since everybody knows that there's no better repository of information on the internet, and because I'm white so none of these opinions are my own, I took to Tumblr to try and help educate you transphobic pieces of shit about pronouns. Here's what I found. Sorry. I had to take a break at this point. A couple of drinks to make this shit easier. I mean, I'm joking, of course. I don't need anything to make this shit easier other than lots and lots and lots of unduly gained prescription painkillers. But in all seriousness, I have had a couple drinks between the last clip and now, so enjoy as I go through Tumblr completely unscripted. So here I go. I've typed pronouns into the Tumblr search bar, and let's see what we come up with. Now, here's one from a user called Non-Binary Suggestion. Your gender is not an inconvenience. Your pronouns are not an inconvenience. You are not an inconvenience. And I think that this is a perfectly reasonable statement if you attach it to perfectly reasonable people. For example, a man who identifies as a man. His gender is not an inconvenience. His pronouns are not an inconvenience. And he himself, unless he's a complete fucking dickhole, is not an inconvenience. And I think it also should apply to male to female or female to male transgender people. And by transgender, I do mean those people who have actually made the transition. If you're a male who has transitioned to female, again, your gender is not an inconvenience. Your pronouns are not an inconvenience. You are not an inconvenience. But when it comes to these, wow, I invite you all to laugh at me lots and lots about that crack in my voice. Apparently somebody needs to either stop smoking or drink more liquids. Anyway, if you're one of those Tumblr SJW types who has made up their own gender or just accepted the gender of somebody else who's made up their own gender and, decided you're that too, your gender is an inconvenience because, it exists outside of science and reality and all that shit, and it's kind of inconvenient for those of us who rely on logic. Your pronouns are an inconvenience because who the fuck can remember z, schnie, schnur, zell, zem, all these fucking random little bits of noise that you have decided are pronouns? Because at this point, your arguments aren't even with gender, they're with language. Let's move on, because I don't want to have to say, you are an inconvenience. Although, actually, I did kind of like saying that. So, you are an inconvenience. You are an inconvenience. So here's the next one. They/them pronouns are correct grammar. They/them pronouns sound pleasant and friendly. They/they pronouns are polite and kind to use with strangers. They/them, oh, that's just a repeat of the rest. But yes, I can agree with some of this. They/them in the singular is grammatically correct. It's annoying as fuck, but technically, grammatically, it works. They/them pronouns sound pleasant and friendly. I don't really understand this. There are words that sound pleasant. Fluffy. Mystical. Enjoyable. Don't know where I'm going with that. But point is, they/them pronouns don't really they don't really offer anything to the conversation besides filler for nouns, which is what pronouns do. They/they pronouns, I assume they actually meant they/them pronouns, are polite and kind to use with strangers. And, that's the point where I have to say, no, it's kind of just ridiculous, because most of the strangers that you're going to run into are going to be either male or female, and identify as male or female. I don't know how much more simple it can be. We don't go out into public and speak to every person that we meet as if they might have a mental disability. We don't go out into public and speak to every person that we meet as if they might be a serial killer. We don't go out into public and speak to every person that we meet as if, fuck it, they might be a celebrity that you don't know about. Even though large portions of society are each of those things. We do, however, according to the SJWs, need to go out and speak to entire strangers as if they were transgender just off the bat. And I mean, the person who posted this, trans positive vibes, I am positive that they had the best fucking ideas in their heart when they were posting this. They mean to be good people. They mean to help people. But that's the problem with the entire SJW attitude. They mean to help people. They mean to do good things. But that's rarely what they actually do. Because they start with, yes, blank group is oppressed. Then they go quickly to, blank group's oppressors are bad people. Which, yes, oppressors of all kinds are generally bad people. But then they jump to, all groups that are not blank are oppressors, which is entirely wrong. Let's move on. This is only fucking number 2 and I've spoken a bunch. Sorry. Like I said, I've been drinking. Actually, give me a moment. I'll be back in a second. Fucking smoke break. Alright, I'm back from my fucking smoke break. So, let's see what we can find. Here's something I found. It's from a Tumblr user called Black Lips and White Dots. It's a little comic here, and it starts off, how would you figure out my gender? Would you go by my hair, and a line pointing at her hair going boy? Or would you go by my hands, and then a line pointing at her fingernails saying girl? Maybe my chest, a line going to her flat ass fucking chest saying boy? Or my legs, lines that say boy and neither, and then a crossed out one that says girl? How can you tell? It's the same as trying to guess my name. Emily, Grace, Gab, Mark, Kyle, Lana. It's hard, right? Why not just ask? Can't be any harder than guessing and being wrong, right? And then it finishes off with, you won't have to guess, and I'll be super grateful. He/him, Charles. And then a heart. So just ask. And I feel like this would be a valid point if, say, a large portion of the population were of questionable gender. But the fact is, 99, I don't know the actual statistic, to be honest, but 90-something fucking percent of the time, when you run into a lady, she's a lady who identifies as such and has a vagina and all that. And the same percentage, probably, or something around there, of the time that you run into a man. He's a dude who identifies as a dude and has the dick to go with it. The balls too. Testicles, dick, everything. So I feel like it's weird to, for such a minority, go around asking everybody, hey, by the way, what gender are you? It's the same idea as before saying to your male buddy, hey man, do you want me to hook you up with that chick? Asking him, hey dude, are you straight or gay, man? Bisexual? Like, I just need to know your sexuality because, I gotta ask. So you'll be super grateful, so I don't make any mistakes. Get people mad at me. Plus, you have to account for the fact that while, yes, there would be a minority that would be grateful for you coming up and asking them what their gender is, there's also the vast majority of people who, if you walk up to them and say, hey, you a dude or a chick, they're going to be a little bit upset with you, I've really had enough of Tumblr at this point. I was gonna do better, I promise. Instead, I went and got bombed. Tomorrow I've got a couple different videos coming up. I'll get them going. I'd just like to do another shout out for the Gentle Raven, who did all the good parts of my art, and all the shitty parts are completely attributable to myself. I'd like to give a shout out to Satsu 2 Cents, the Satiratician, T-Bing, and also Adam and his Apple. They'll all be linked down below. All of them are excellent YouTubers. While I've got your attention, I'd like you to please consider donating to Peach Bailey's GoFundMe. She's going through some very hard times, and we'd all like to see her helped out. So, if you've got the money and if you've got it in your heart, the GoFundMe will be posted in the description. Send her some fucking money. She could use it. She's a funny chick. Subscribe to her as well. Just do it. Subscribe to me as well. Like this video. Even if you don't like this video, still donate to Peach Bailey. She's fucking great. I'm fucking drunk. I'm gonna go finish the bottle, and then I'm probably gonna finish another one. Goodbye.